Hi everyone, Sarah Pacaro. Today's video is going to be a metaphor and an analogy to help explain childhood emotional neglect, or CEN. And what CEN looks like and feels like is normal, is a normal childhood, a normal upbringing. And unfortunately, everyone goes through childhood and thinks that their childhood is normal because it is what you experience. How can you know any different if it's all you know and if it's what you know? So you know that you're raised by caregivers. Sometimes it's parents, sometimes it's adopted parents, sometimes it's grandparents. You have caregivers, people who are supposed to give care to you and take care of you. And with childhood emotional neglect, you are taken care of. You're taken care of physically. You have a roof over your head. You have clothes on your back. You have food on the table. You are taken care of in many ways. So knowing you're taken care of, how can you believe that you weren't? But with childhood emotional neglect, your emotional needs are not met. You are not cared for or supported emotionally. And when that occurs, it leads to a snowball, a lot of other things that impact you later on as an adult. And then you begin to get into these relationships or jobs or patterns of behavior, and you start to notice and experience the same thing happening over and over again. And most people that I work with get to this place where they wonder, how did I get here? There are many things in their life that are really, really good. And there are things in their life that are lacking, areas of their life where they feel stuck, where they feel unhappy, where they feel unsatisfied. And no matter what they do to try and fill that, whether it's climb the corporate ladder, get into another relationship, buy another home, get the dream car, whatever it is, the things that should make them happy and feel a sense of accomplishment, a sense of achievement, they should be able to just embrace that and let go. They've worked so hard for it, and now they have all this stuff to show for it, but are still not happy. That is where you wonder what's going on. What's up? Why? I should be, right? I lived my life. I've worked so hard. I've got this, and this, and there's an entire resume, if you will, of accomplishments, of successes, of achievements, of things that should make you happy. But those are all external things. And internally, you still feel unhappy. You still are the people pleaser. You still are the overgiver. You still are the one that feels pulled and like you're constantly going from here to here, and you don't get it and you don't like it and you don't want to live that way anymore. So I'm going to share with you what happens when you're raised in an environment where childhood emotional neglect is present, and how it's connected and related to what you're experiencing today. Majority of people that I work with say they feel exhausted, they feel heavy, their mind feels like it's spinning. It's on this like, and it just won't stop. And even though physically they are not exhausted, but maybe they do get into that really the best shape of their life, right? Like really doing everything they can to be healthy, and they can be physically exhausted and drained, but it doesn't match the exhaustion emotionally. So they wake up feeling like, okay, if I just, go through my day, if I work, if I crush this workout, if I do XYZ, then I'll be so tired, I'll be able to really finally get a good night's sleep. But when your head hits the pillow at night, your brain turns on, and then it tries to sort and figure all this stuff out, and it impacts your sleep. And then you wake up tired, you wake up exhausted, and you don't get it because you're doing everything right. So here's what happens when you experience an emotionally neglectful childhood. Say that this cup or this jar is you, right? And you're just a little one, you're just born, right? And you grow up. We need certain things when we grow up, right? We need safety, we need shelter, we need food, we need connection, we need comfort, we love, we need emotional things, and we need physical things in order to not only survive, but to thrive. And the things that we need in order to survive, those are met, right? We have a roof over our head, clothes on our back, we have friends, we have this family, right? They come home, and parents get home at 5, dinner's on the table by 5:30, we eat. And in this example, or this case, let's say that mom is in the kitchen, busy cleaning up, helping us get ready for doing our homework and get ready for the next day, because that is mom's role. That is mom's job. That is what she does. And mom is very good at her role. But emotionally, her and dad are not connected. So mom is also emotionally checked out. Mom is emotionally in her head because of this marriage. But as the children in this analogy, you don't really feel it because mom and dad never fight, because mom never brings anything up. Mom just stays in her lane, does her job, fits her role, and she does it very, very well. And she doesn't rock the boat. And dad is emotionally checked out as well. So dad comes home from working a really hard day, right? His 8 to 5, and after dinner plops down on the couch with his drink and just watches TV and completely checks out. You are the kid in this analogy, and you maybe had something really, really exciting happen at school. And so you were super, super excited and you want to tell mom and you want to tell dad about it. Well, I'm busy, I'm cleaning up, in a second. And you get dismissed. Imagine that dismissing is like a little rock, and each of these rocks are going to represent an experience. Well, you go to tell mom, guess what? Oh my gosh, little Bobby at school was, and she says, honey, not now. Okay. And you go, oh, okay, well, I don't know why you're not as excited about this as I am. Like, this is amazing, little Bobby and Emily. Oh my gosh, and we discovered this. And mom dismisses you. That experience of being dismissed goes in the jar. All right. And it's okay. No big deal. Dad, guess what? Because you're thinking, okay, mom doesn't have time to listen to me. So I'm going to go see if dad has time to listen to me. And dad says, move, you're in the way, trying to watch the game. And you think, well, I'm really, really excited about this. I want to share it with you and I want to talk to you about it. Why are you not just as excited about this as me? And dad going, get out of the way. You make a better door than a window. You're thinking, okay, well, if I move over here and I'm a window and not a door, then will you listen to me? Then can I tell you? And dad doesn't care. And maybe dad snaps and says, you know what? I don't have time for this. Why don't you go tell your brother? Why don't you go play in your room or whatever? Another experience of being dismissed. Okay. Goes in the jar. Right. So each one of those individually, not a big deal. Right. But what happens over time, I mean, that's you emotionally neglected. It was not, you didn't get the opportunity to emotionally connect with your parents, with your caregivers, with those that you want and need to care about you and to validate you and to love you and to express and share your emotions with safely. It was dismissed. So there was not anything traumatic or bad that happened, but emotionally you're neglected. So same thing, right? But this time it's something that really hurt, right? Something like your first love. Let's just call it like a childhood crush or junior high love, whatever it is, your first love. They wrote you a letter, a note at school saying that they are breaking up with you, and you come home and you're crushed and you're crying. And maybe you start to tell mom or dad about it because they notice something's off, and you start to tell them about it, and their response is, a big deal, get over it. It wasn't like you were going to marry them. And boom, another experience goes in the jar. Over time, this starts to get really, really heavy. And it's not anything big and traumatic, right? That happened, but the emotional neglect, each time it occurs, it's like a rock being dropped in here. And over time, this gets really heavy. It gets full. So best friend, says that they don't want to be friends with you anymore. They start dating your ex girlfriend or boyfriend, and you think, why do they like them more, not me? I don't have any friends anymore. What's the point of all this? You fail a class and you're afraid to tell your parents, right? And so that goes in here, and you start to hide it and you start to feel guilty. So this emotion that you're carrying the weight of the emotion, you're carrying the weight of the guilt, the weight of the blame, the weight of the shame, and you begin to blame yourself. You begin to feel like you don't deserve good things because of all of these bad things that happened to you, because of the things that people have said to you that led you to believe you don't deserve to be happy. And even though as an adult in life, you have all these things that should make you happy, you also are carrying around the weight of these emotions from all these things that happened to you in the past. Every time you go through your day, something happens and someone dismisses you, and then another rock gets dropped in, and then another one. Maybe it's something a teacher said to you, or like that class that you failed in and you tried to not bring home your report card because God knows what dad or mom was going to do or say if they found out that you got a C, or even worse, a D, or failed your class. So you hide it and you feel guilty because you know you should have studied more, you know you should have done better. And so now you're carrying the weight of all of the guilt, the blame, the shame, the anger, the resentment from not feeling safe to express yourself, from not having anyone to connect with, anyone to listen to, from all those times that you were dismissed. You're now an adult carrying around the weight of that. And what happens when this gets full? You need something bigger, right? So maybe you move from a little jar to a bucket. There you go. Okay, I'm going to carry this around. But what happens is you start carrying this around as well. And now you're in adulthood, and imagine you're carrying all these jars and all these buckets for all these rocks from these past experiences where your emotions were neglected and not accepted. And so you are wondering, what's wrong with me? Why can I not feel normal? Why can't I just be happy? That's the result. That's the impact of childhood emotional neglect. It's not always something really, really big, something really, really significant. It's an accumulation of all these little times that you were dismissed or that you feel guilty. Maybe it's you went into your mom's purse because you wanted money to go to the movies and you didn't have any money, but your best friend Billy had $10 and you wanted $10 too. And Billy's mom just gave it to him and said, "Here, Billy, have a good time at the movies." And you asked your parents and they said, "No, I'm not giving you money because you didn't do your chores." And you're thinking, well, I'll do my chores when I get home. What I'm going to do is just go steal the $10 and then I'll do my chores when I get home. Boom. You stole the $10 and now you feel bad for stealing, right? And then you end up not doing the chores because you get distracted and you and Billy have such a good time playing and you forget about doing the chores, but now you feel bad. And then mom or dad says, "Hey, did you take those $10?" And you say, "No." Mm-mm. And you don't feel safe to say, "Yes, I did, because I really wanted to go to the movies with Billy, but you wouldn't let me." And so now you're lying. And now you feel shame and guilt for lying. And now there's not the trust, if there was trust established between you and that parent, has been broken because you didn't want to get in trouble. And your parent didn't say, "It's okay, just tell me." And then you told them because you feared getting in trouble. So then there's fear that you're carrying around. Okay, well, I can't tell them, even though they say that. So you're carrying around fear. You're carrying around all of this into adulthood, even though you had a normal childhood, a childhood filled with normal experiences, but you're still carrying the heaviness and the weight and the burden of those emotions into adult experiences, relationships, into your adult life. So that's the impact of childhood emotional neglect. Healing from it is about releasing, pouring out, dumping out all of this so that even though you have a good life, well, and then not even dumping it into here, but dumping it out, letting it go, releasing, detaching from it so that you're not carrying the heaviness of all of that into your life, because you have a great life now, but you don't feel that you can appreciate it, and you don't believe that it's okay to have a great life because you feel guilty or bad for that one time. And perhaps you can't remember what it was, because who's going to remember the time that they took $10 from their mom's wallet to go to the movie with Billy? Who's going to remember the time that dad went, "Hey, move, get out of the way"? Because that was a normal incident, a normal childhood experience. Every parent goes, "Hey, move, I'm watching this." Okay. But if in that moment you had something really special, really exciting to share, and you were hoping to connect and have that reciprocated. And if it were, you would feel loved, you would feel heard, you would feel seen, you would feel appreciated, but you didn't in that moment. And it was a tiny little rock, right? But all of those add up. All those small things add up to big things. This is not heavy in and of itself, but you throw a bag on my back with 1,000,000 of these or 10,000 of these, I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel pulled back and I'm going to feel heavy from it. That's what happens when you experience childhood emotional neglect, or CEN. So, to break free from that is to release from the feelings that you are not worthy of being seen, that you are unlovable, that you are not not able to be happy. You are happy, but then you get pulled back into that, no, you don't deserve happiness. So it's cutting that, it's changing your belief system, it's restructuring, reprogramming, rewiring it, so the happiness that you do have in life, you really believe that you deserve to have. So that is what I specialize in. I would love to talk to you more about the power of transformational healing, especially if you were raised in an environment or in a time where everything was normal and you didn't have any of these big traumatic things happen to you. Hopefully, this explanation helps you understand more about why you're feeling these things and what childhood emotional neglect can lead to in adulthood. You don't have to live that way the rest of your life, and it does not take years and years and years or tons of medication thrown at it to combat, right, the stress, the worry, the anxiety, the depression, the sadness, all of that. It does not. It takes a restructuring, reprogramming, rewiring of your belief system. So what you have, you're aligned to. You have things that should make you happy, but you're also internally and emotionally aligned to happiness so that you can live, enjoy, and experience that. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this analogy. It resonated with me, and it's one that I shared with a recent client. So look forward to connecting with you. You can find out more information in the links below this video that will take you to my website, the program that I now take people through, and options to work one-to-one together if that is where you're at. So thank you. Have a beautiful and blessed day.